can try and live our own truth as like much as possible, but you realize it still comes with like experience. Like telling the truth is hard, and telling the truth about yourself is even harder. Like we had Campbell Newman on the other day, and I realized just how like direct and honest he was to his own truth, that it almost made me uncomfortable that someone could be so comfortable with themselves that I was like, if he brought up something that I didn't want to talk about, e.g. he brought up drugs, and we realized that we just didn't know how to like address the situation, but he could just easily kind of walk through the topic because he was being completely honest and completely transparent about the whole thing. And I'm starting to realize with myself, like when you lie or you lie to other people, it's when the kind of unhappiness starts to build up because you're just kind of suppressing and, like you said, not communicating. But it can come from the escapism of lying. Like someone's like, how's your job going? And you're like, it's really good. I'm getting paid way more now and this is happening. They're like, oh, okay, that's cool, man. Good to hear it's good. And then you're like, why did I lie? Why did I say that I'm earning this? Or why did I say that this is happening?
And everyone does. Like, and like hospitality is an industry itself. Like everyone, like I always say, like, so I always confide in my staff and let them know like everything. So I'm like, it's really lonely because every time you talk to any other hospitality owner, they're like, yeah, I'm busy. And no one ever says.
No, everyone in business, honestly.
Well, yeah,
everyone
it's true. And then you're like, oh, fuck.
What am I doing wrong?
Like, you know, and.
Am I retarded? Am I not good enough? Should I not be doing this?
Yes.
That's why.
And then you finally get that one person that goes, hey, man, things are being real shit.
And you're like, oh, thank God.
Like, stay with me.
Yeah. That's why actually we're so lucky that we have multiple stores so that we can see like them all going up and down. So we're lucky that how's Mons or how's Belmo, they're all going in that up and down kind of thing. And also like, you know, they're also different. Like, you know, Monocle gets really quiet on the school holidays because all the locals leave, where Paul gets busy because we're a bit more touristy, and knowing that the business is different. So we're very lucky we have that, but otherwise no one else is ever telling us anything of how it is.
Well, is that like a defense mechanism?
I don't know. Like, I think it's just people, the same thing, just...
Everyone cares what each other thinks.
But I guess like as well, like to be in the other foot, like I sometimes
message you up. Message you up in the head. You think everyone's doing really well. And you're not.
And then up the level of social media and everyone just like.
I find like two sides to like with a bit of balance. Like if someone asks me how I'm going and I'm having a really good month, I'll just be like energetically like, yeah, things are really good. I'm so happy, like going well. But when you can tell someone else is like not doing too well, the last thing you want is someone super energetic being like, what a time to be alive. Like if we just wake up every morning and smile at the sun, it's like you also don't want that energy when you're having like a rough time as well. But I guess like maybe it is just instinctive to say like things are going really well. But yeah, you're right. It's like some of those companies that kind of show what they're up to, and then out of the blue they disappear, and then you ask them how it went, like, oh, it just wasn't for me, and you're like, but 2 months ago you were going to expand and 100%. You were telling me about this thing you were doing and everything else.
Why weren't you just honest with me and say like, you know, this is where I'm at?
Do you find that you're really good at picking up bullshitters now as well?
Oh yeah,
like I'll have a friend be like, oh man, so and so's killing it, he's doing this, and I'm like, oh, that's good for them, like that's awesome, hope it works out. And then next minute they're on to the next thing. And I'm like, this guy, he's just always on to this next thing.
That was my biggest downfall. Because I look at the fast cars, I'm like, man, I wish I had one. How the hell are they forward in that? And then you work out, it's like...
We lease it in the business.
Yeah.
If you buy it outright, you're an idiot.
100%. But yeah, I think you can easily get trapped down those rabbit holes, especially on social media.
100%.
How do you manage it? Because like you obviously got a lot of influencers that come to your cafes, like your business.
People trying to pay the bill by saying I'll post anything, and they're like, no, it's cash here.
I mean, I'm really lucky that I've grown up with them and I've seen like...
Also, most of them are just your friends.
Well, it's like, no, like a lot of them are my friends, and then it's kind of more like I've seen both sides of them. So I've kind of seen behind whatever you say, what that thing is behind the mirror, behind the curtain. Like I kind of, you know, you only see what you see on the screen of a lot of them, where I see like them in real life, and I've been at
they get stressed, they get upset.
Oh yeah.
Is there a big difference?
Like,
is it dramatically different?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, it's dramatically. And it's like I've even been with someone, they're not an influencer anymore, so I won't say names, but like I've been with them where I've seen them like I've gone to take a photo with them, right? And I've seen them like here, and they look like so much better there to how I see them straight there. So I know firsthand that it's not all real, and like, you know what I mean? So I've been able to see that, but I think a lot of people that don't know them personally can forget. They can forget. They just think that is how they look and everything kind of, you know, with it. So
and it's like looking at a magazine.
100%.
Like Men's Health, and this dude's jacked.
Yeah.
And then you look at home, you're like, ugh.
Yeah.
But it's like that on social media every time. It's not like you read a magazine very often. You can put a magazine down and put it away.
Yeah.
But your phone, it's just like, it's always there if you want it to be.
Exactly. And I don't know, like with guy influencers, like now, like as girls rule empowering at the moment, which is awesome. There's a lot more influencers now.
Is that really genuine?
There's some genuine ones.
Yeah.
So like I think we know as well. Like I think people know now a lot quicker, and there's some awesome like genuine ones. I mean, obviously they all have their different avenue that they're influencing in, but there's some real like genuine ones that kind of which used to be maybe model influencers that have changed to go like, look, this is actually they'll do like the natural and then the edit, and it's just awesome. Like it's just like
exposing the industry.
Yeah, and it's just like, oh, thank God, like like. We can all actually look like that if we do everything that they're doing. So that's been like really good. So a lot of them more are coming out. I don't know if there's any guys like that doing that, because you're right. You did just see the jacked guys and then you think that that's real. You know what I mean? And that
I
must
think
be
more
hard.
like exposing some of like the routines and stuff, because it's such like I don't know, like it's like Jono, I think he kind of exposes a bit of the fitness industry in like a really kind of healthy way.
Do you know, another thing as well is like I always tell like my partner, because obviously he wants to be ripped and everything like every other guy does, and I'm like, I think he's amazing.
Their only goal.
Yeah, like everyone's. But I was like, babe, that guy who looks like that, he's just going to gym all day, and that's all he's doing. Like you're like working, doing a million things, and achieving all these awesome other goals in business or in life or whatever it is. I'm like, you don't have time to look like that. Anyone that can look like that has the time to be like, do you know what I mean?
Well, sometimes it's a highlight reel. It's a 4-week stint for a shoot, and then you've just seen those 4 weeks of photos the next year.
Yeah, exactly. So like, you all look amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I needed this.
And it's real, and girls like real way better anyway. And I'm sure you guys like real girls better anyway than the full, like.
Oh, nothing's more depressing when you see a chick on Instagram and then you meet up with them and you're like, oh. Okay? No, it is. I'm calling it out.
I'm sure there's a few more depressing things.
Oh yeah, of course there is. There's world hunger going on. But seriously, in our life, that's sometimes can be pretty bad if you're dating them. Yeah. But I'm glad that's happening. I think it's positive that there are genuine people looking to make a positive change with females.
That's like when I don't do too many like selfie kind of stuff, but like when I do, even now a vlog, I'm like, it's like I had like an eye infection on that one just the other day, and I'm like, I'm no makeup, just out of the shower, like this is just how it is, because if you're going to come into my work and see me anyway, that's how I look. So you're going to see me like, I don't wear makeup half the time, or I wear like a little bit. So I don't ever want that to happen where you're like, oh my God, she's a glamour on Instagram. And then I'd rather you just know that I'm like, whatever I am. Do you know what I mean? Like,
you want the consistency.
Exactly. I'm happy with that.
But how do we do that? Because I've got a young daughter. She's like 19 months. So how are we going to change that for the future? Because that'd be wigging out. Like, or maybe
we'll create a separate app and it'll be like, this one you can't edit anything and this one's the edited one. I don't know.
I don't know if you can like monitor. I'm sure there's going to be apps and monitor who they're following. There are like, there are the good influencers out there, because I mean the reality is they're going to get on there. But I feel the same when I do have kids. I don't, especially after watching Social Dilemma. Please watch it.
You don't want to bubble wrap them. You want to be able to guide a kid so they can go, hey, that's fake.
Yeah, exactly. Just have that, and maybe mummy's doing photos with her and explaining that, and then just talking to her more about it. Like even back in like, please watch it. So obviously, like it just happened to me like recently when I watched the documentary. Obviously I didn't have Facebook till year 12 finished, and then we had Instagram like 22, 20, whatever it was. So lucky, like we were after it. But like I've got a big European nose. It was always like my insecurity growing up. I used to like be at the movies and people would look at me sideways, and I'd be like, look at them. I didn't want them like looking at me sideways.
Yeah, that's why I'm paranoid about this camera. Catches my nose on it.
It was like my biggest insecurity, and like, grew up, and my mom was always like, both my parents, you're amazing. No, you're not allowed to get anything done. Like, I have got Botox now, but I haven't told my mom until she listens to this. Like, very like not allowed to get anything done, and that's how it is. So grew out of it, learned to love my nose. My partner loves my nose. One of my favorite things he loves it about me, whatever. And grew up and stay out of that world. And then recently I've seen like photos of like Gigi Hadid and Bella Hadid before afters, and they're like dad's from Morocco, so Mediterranean, that side of the world. And I was like before and after, like, oh my God, like if I get a nose job, I could look as good as them. Like, and
you felt it come back almost.
Yeah. And then obviously because I've like hovered over it on Insta, it just